Hello all and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. I'm Jamie and I'm going to be your host today for a very jam-packed video. Normally we have about 10 products to share with you. Today I've got closer to 20, so I've really got lots and lots to get through and loads to tempt you with. Now I know you've just had a little glimpse at a Christmas card. Don't panic, today isn't all Christmas. We've got a couple of Christmas sets for you, a couple of everyday sets for you, and some really incredible border dies that we're going to be having a look at shortly as well. Before we go any further in today's video, I just want to say thank you for all of you that have subscribed to us on YouTube. This week we've actually finally met our target of 1,000 subscribers, something I've personally been aiming for over a year now. So thank you so much to all of you that have clicked subscribe. And if you haven't yet, please do. I'm not going to tell you what our next target is, but it's a lot higher than 1,000. So please help us reach that one if you will. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take you through all of the different products that we have available for you to purchase. Then we're going to have a look at your essentials pack. Then I'm going to show you lots of things I've made with them. Today I think I've got about 12 or 13 samples to tempt you with. So hold on and I promise we'll get there shortly. Now with all of our products that I show you, they're going to have a code on them. I'll tell you the code for each item as we go along, and we'll discuss the prices and more about the actual product. But if you do wish to order these products via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, text message or over the phone to one of our stores, then if you can quote that code, we'll know the item that you're on about. If you wish to order online, you can do that and we'll post the items to you anywhere in the world, but we'll discuss that a little later on in today's video. But you don't need to know the codes for that. Everything is pictured and priced online, clear for you to see. You can also click and collect via our website, and you can collect from our Great Yarmouth or our Lowestoft store. But again, we'll chat a little bit more about that later. I can't hold you on any longer. We've got to show you the amazing products I've got for you this week, and then we'll bore you at the end with all of them little click and collects and postage bits. So first things we're looking at, these are stamps. These are creative expressions designed for Sue Wilson actual dies, and these are stamps that can marry up with dies. Don't have to use them with the dies, and I'll show you that shortly with my samples, but you can use them with the matching dies to create really lovely effects. So our first one obviously is a really lovely Christmas bauble. It's got this lovely sleigh and reindeers going over a villagey scene. Your stamp should be $4.99, but of course, being a Sunday Showcase video, we're giving you 20% off of all of the individual products today that are in our offers. So if you do wish to buy that one, you're going to get 20% off of it for this week and this week only, meaning it's only $3.99 if you wish to buy that one separately. We then have a different design for you, same size actual stamp, but so it'll go on the same part of the die when we get to those in a moment. But this is a different scene, obviously, more of a sort of winter village-esque scene, but without the sleigh and reindeer part. This is stamp 2. Again, should be $4.99, but is reduced to just $3.99. Now, the die set you need for these may look rather familiar to some of you. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, this is one that we bought you a couple of months ago. So you may already have this one in your collection, but if you haven't and it's new to you, this is code die 9. It should be $18.99, but it's on offer for only £15.19. Now for that, you're actually going to be getting 9 different dies. Now I've laid them out down here just so you can have a little look at what you're actually getting for that. They really are lovely. There's lots that we can do with them. You've got the outside parts. Now this is the part that you're going to cut out to do your stamp on. That's the one you need. Now we also have really lacy, intricate parts. These don't have dies around the edge of them. There's not a blade around here. So it'll actually cut into your card and stay there. Or you can layer it inside that die and actually cut it out as a freestanding bauble. There's also little headers to go on the baubles, little hangy bits. You've also got little decoration parts to go in the middle. And then these, I fell in love with these when we had it on our showcase before. These actually emboss the words peace and joy. And when they do so, it really looks like a really impressive panel that you've created. It reminds me of when you get them squashed pennies at amusement parks and things like that, but they look really lovely when you actually cut them out of your cardstock. I'll show you that on some of my samples later. And then of course we've got a smaller bauble set that goes with it as well. So just because of you're using the one with a stamp on doesn't mean that we can't use the other dies to build up backgrounds and coordinating designs as well. So you may wish to go for all 3 elements. So that's going to give you the 2 stamps and the set of dies. Now if you wish to, you can save a few pennies more. It's only a few pennies, but every little helps. This is bundle A. So if you just want to simply let us know that you want bundle A, That will include both of your bauble stamps and your bauble die set. Now the recommended retail price for all three components separately is £28.97, but if you was to buy a bundle A, it's only £22.99. So again, you do save a few pennies more than on top of the loose items as well. So that is your first set. Now hopefully I've already tempted you thoroughly already. The next set is another Christmas one, but I promise you, for all you people who are hiding from Christmas, the two after this aren't. So hold on there if you're not into the Christmas mood just yet. Stamp number 3 again should be £4.99, but it's only £3.99 on the offer. This one's a lovely one again. It's going to match up with a die again in a moment, but this one's perfect for adding little sentiments in here. Really good for if you wish to decorate envelopes. I'll show you some of them later, but perfect for just writing the name of the person it's going to on there. Really like that stamp. It's got so much detail in it and really lends itself for going in with poinsettias and foliage dies and bits like that if you want to build up a bigger scene with it. Stamp number 4 is our Christmas robin. Again, really, really cute. So detailed, and I love the wood grain effect on the back of this one. And this one's perfect if you want to cut that part out as well and pop something else behind it. So this is stamp 4. Again, should be £4.99, but is only £3.99. Now the die set to go with this one's a brand new one. I don't believe this one's been out many weeks, even if it's made it to weeks at the point we're filming this. This is die number 10. It should be £14.99, but you're going to get 20% off that one as well. So it's only £11.99 if you wish to buy it on your offer this week. For that, you're going to get 8 dies. Now these dies are really clever. You've got the outside large die, which is going to give you the really nice holly part. Now I've cut one of these out. This was actually going to become part of a card, but I didn't quite get there. So I'm giving you a little bit of a sneaky peek of this one. I've only just stressed around the edge of it because I was planning to do one of my stamped elements in the middle. But the good bit with this die set is if you do want to cut the middle out, they've also give you items to do that with. So this is the outside bit just cut as one. That's the bit of the green I'm showing you. Then we have lots of parts to go in the middle. So these match up to the centre element, and they're the perfect size. The outside one here, the largest one, is the perfect size for you to use with your stamps. You can use the smaller ones as well, and on one of mine I've done that, so I'll get to show you that shortly. But I've actually used the smallest size because you've got 3 different sizes here of the large bits. We've then got these 2 elements. Now again, these don't have blades around the edge, so if you want to cut them into something, they will stay in the card and create like a window effect. Or you can marry them up with these dies to create 3 elements if you wish to, or different windows. Again, the same with the little one in the middle there. That again doesn't have a blade around the edge of it, so you can use it on the tiny bits to create decorations. There really is so much I could waffle on with these sort of dies, because they give you so many elements and you've got so many ins and outs, but they're all separate, so you can use them as frames or as solids. I really could keep you here forever just waffling on about ideas and showing you samples, but I'll be honest, I just don't have that much time to show you everything these can do, because we'd be here for a lifetime. So if you do wish to purchase those 3 elements together, giving you your 2 stamps and your really lovely die set, you can do that in bundle B. Now bundle B has a recommended retail price of £24.97, but your offer price for this one is £19.49. So that's a really lovely set as well. Now, as I did promise, if you have had enough of Christmas already or just really don't want to start on it just yet, we do have some everyday ones for you as well. And these are really lovely everyday ones. So, first of all, we have stamp design number 5. Again, should be £4.99, just now £3.99 for this week and this week only. Then we have stamp number 6. Again, should be £4.99, but only £3.99. Again, these 2 I think are brilliant because if you could use them to write labels, or you could pop them on your envelopes and pop the name of the person they're going to. You could use them to jazz up your inserts a little bit. Or of course you could do all of those ideas and really have a nice coordinating set. Now one of the bits I like with the die set that goes with this is they actually give you the die here which marries up to go into the middle of your stamp as well. So if you wish to cut that window out, you don't have to do it with a knife. You have a die to do it. Or we have a really filigree delicate part that you can marry up and put in there, and it doesn't have a blade around the edge. It's one of them ones without the blade, so you can end up with some really nice delicate cut work in there instead. So really lots of options with them. This is your set of dies actually out of the pack, so you can have a little look at those. So you've got the solid outside, which is the bit you need for your stamps. This again doesn't have a blade around the outside or the inside, so it's great for just cutting decoration windows if you wish to. Or you can marry it up with the bits to go in the middle and the outside to create it out as a cut it out as a freestanding frame. And they've even given you a nice little tab here to go in the middle part for if you want to add a sentiment to something. And one of the bits I really like is if you use these two together, that'll create this effect. And they've left little holes on the end so you can actually hang it and tie it onto elements. So I just thought that'd be a really nice way to decorate sort of the bottom of an easel card, maybe with a little sentiment or something if you wanted to, but you can just tie your threads through it and really have a nice little effect. If you don't want them bits, then you can easily snip them off with some scissors and be free of them, but I really like them. So die number 11 should be £14.70p, but with your 20% off it's only £11.79, which is really good, especially for that amount of dies and the size of those, and of course the freedom to use them with your stamps too. Now again, if you do wish to go for all of that lot, that will make Bundle C. Bundle C should be £24.68, but with your discount this week, it's only £19.49. Now once again, that is a slight saving on buying all 3 elements individually. So it's quicker for you to do it, and it saves you a few more pennies too. Now on to my last set of the stamps and dies that coordinate. We're on to stamp 7 now. These are the really beautiful sunflower ones. This is one of my favourites. This one's £4.99, again reduced to just £3.99. We've then got your really floral surround one. This is stamp 8, should be £4.99, only £3.99. And a die that I think is going to be very, very popular indeed. This is die 12. Now again, lots of options for this one. We've got 5 different components to this one, and the price point is incredible. It should only be £10.99, which is a steal on its own, but with your 20% off makes it only £8.79. Now if we actually look at what you're going to be getting for that, you've got your outside die, which is the one you want to use your stamps with. Then we've got the really nice filigree bit that goes around the inside. Again, no edge on either side of that one, so you can cut it into windows and bits like that if you wish to. Then over here, we've got this really nice sort of perforation circle, and on the inside of that it has got a blade, so you can just cut that out as like a window with a perforation line around the outside of it. We then have a really nice lattice part, which again doesn't have a blade around the side of it, so you can cut that into many elements. So if you wanted to, for instance, you could pop it in the disc you cut out of here, or they've given you a simple blade as well, so you can pop it in the middle of that one and cut it out of there. Or you could pop it anywhere on a piece of cardstock and just cut out that lattice effect, which is a really nice element for if you just want to pop a butterfly on the top of it somewhere every now and again. If you do wish to buy that set as a bundle, that is going to be Bundle D. Now Bundle D should be £20.97p, but it's yours for just £16.49p. That's your cheapest option of your bundles this week, but they're all such good value. I have no idea how you're going to pick between all 4 of them. There's so much fun I'm going to be able to share with you when we get to our samples. I think we're really going to have some confused people out there today knowing which ones to get. Now, not only do we have all of that for you, we also have the most intelligent border dies I think I've ever come across. Now, this is die 13. Now, in die 13, you get 3 different dies. Now, if we start off by having a look at the dies, it might make a little bit more sense. So, the main element here, which is your floral part, that is left without a blade on each side. So, it's freestanding. So, again, if you want to just cut it into your cardstock and leave it there, you can do. Or we can marry it up with the 2 blades that come with it to actually cut it out. Now again, we could put them all together and cut it out as one element, which will give you a freestanding piece like this one. So completely free from your card, left out just as a topper. You can leave that part off, which will give you the effect on the packet you can see here. So really good for the sort of bottom end of an easel card maybe, or the top end if you want it to still be sort of relatively flat for envelopes and bits, or the edges of boxes maybe. Lots of ideas along them lines. Or we can take that one away and marry it up with the top blade, and instead that will give you this effect. So many options with them. So you can leave it together, you can just leave it in the cardstock, you can use it with the top blade, the bottom blade, or both. So as I said, really intelligent dies. This is the most interesting sort of border dies I think I've ever come across, and price wise they're really, really good value. The recommended retail price for this die is £8.50, but with your 20% off this week, it's only £6.80, which is just miles cheaper than any of that style of die I've ever seen, let alone with all of these different components and ideas you can use with it. So I think these might be quite a quick one to go, so get them while we've got them. The next one, same idea again. You're going to get the same 3 blades, so same options again for how to use it. So I won't talk you through it all again because it's exactly the same on this one. This one's die 14, £8.50, just at £6.80 with your discount. Now the next one, moving on to die 15, so code 15 if you do wish to order it. Same price point again, so £8.50 reduced to just £6.80. But this time you're going to get 5 dies for your money. So all the options I just gave you still apply, but we have even more of them to play about with. So again, we can use them as separate entities. You don't have to use them together if you don't want to. So that's one part of it, that's the other part of it. Or you can use them as freestanding elements on their own, or of course we can marry them up and use them in lots of different ways. So let's have a look at the dies and show you a bit here. So your 5 dies, again you've got the top and the bottom die like the other 2 sets. But the element in the middle is broke into 2, and then through the centre of that is another blade, which just really means that I could waffle again about these for hours and hours and hours, because with so many different dies, the options and ways you can use them is just incredible. One of the ways I wanted to show you that I've done with this is just using the bottom element of the actual fancy part and just cut that into my cardstock. So again, you could put colours under that if you wanted to. You could use 4 and do it on all 4 sides. I want to show you this one actually, I forgot to show you this one, but this is that done with the last die, which is die 14. So that's just the same die done on 4 sides of the cardstock, just to show you how you could cut that out to be quite a delicate panel. It actually looks like we've bought really expensive dies and put in lots of hard work, when really it's just using 1 die. Now of course I've done that with a point going inwards on this sample, but you could have done it with a point going outwards. You could do it on larger cardstock if you wanted to. You could even match it up and do borders depending on the size of the machine you're working with. So so many options, genuinely so many options. This one here, going back to die 15, this is using all 5 dies together. So we've used the blade across the top to cut that one. We've used the top of the fancy part to cut this part. We've then used the middle die in the centre, then the bottom of the fancy part and the blade at the base of that. Just so you can see, if you want to, you can cut them out and use them as all three elements like that. Or if you wish to, you could leave the blade in the middle out and you would have a much wider border. So genuinely, one of these items that we could play about with for hours and convince you that you need, because it's just such an essential item. If you do wish to go for all 3 sets, which, God, you're going to have hours of fun with them, that is Bundle E. Bundle E will get you all 3 of your borders, should be £25.50, but this week on your offer it's only £20, which again makes them incredibly cheap. Dies go even cheaper. So I think that might be a bundle that sells out quite quickly. If you wish to be confused for hours, pop in and see me and I'll give you loads more ideas on how we could work with those, because it's something I just feel there's so many ways we could work with them. You're never going to be bored of using them dies. Now, we've looked at stamps, we've looked at dies. What's missing? Embossing folders. So we have 2 embossing folders for you. Now this week they are Christmas designs, but I will get to show you one of these that really we can ink it in different ways and play about with it, and it's got nothing to do with Christmas at all. Embossing Folders 16, so Emboss 16 is your code for this one. These are actually 3D embossing folders. So when they emboss, they're really deep impressions. Such fun to work with. Should be £5.99, but with your 20% off this week, it's just £4.79. You'll get to see these much better when we look at our samples shortly. And then our next one, Emboss 17, again, should be £5.99, but only £4.79 on offer. And this is your holly border. Again, it's a 3D embossing folder, so really deep impressions, and so much we can do with them. I'll get to show you a few of my ideas when we get to look at the samples in a little while. Now, before we do look at all of those samples, let's chat about your essentials pack. If you're new to our videos, you might not have seen these before, but every week we bring together an essentials pack, giving you the majority of the items that I've used to make my cards. So if you do like the look of what I'm about to show you, this might be a really good starting point for you, because it's going to give you all of the essential bits you need to recreate them. And not only do we give them to you in one handy pack, we also take 1/3 off of the actual recommended retail price for it. So for instance, this week's pack should be £21.19, but it's yours for just £14. Now that £14 really does buy you an awful lot of stuff. So let's have a little look through it. First of all, you're going to get 2 of these. These were new in last week, but you didn't get this colour in last week's pack. So I bought you a new colour. But they're new glossy paper, I should call it really, not card. It's a bit thin for that. But it is a really nice quality. Great for die cut, and you can even emboss it if you want to. And they variegate in colour, so you may be able to see on camera. We go from quite a dark gold up to quite a light gold. That isn't your screen playing you about. That is the idea. They are really lovely to work with. You're also going to get a few 12 by 12s. So you've got a damask 12 by 12. These are single-sided ones, but a really lovely little flourishy damask one. We're also going to give you a lilac gingham one, and we're going to give you a black and white pinstripe 12 by 12. Now, you may have already spotted down the side here, you're going to get 5 envelopes. Now, of course, with those, we need 5 cards to go with them. So you're going to get 5 pearl cards, square cards, to decorate. Now these are really good because they match up quite well with the border dies, so when you actually use them they just end slightly fractionally short, but of course depending on what you want to do with them border dies, I'm going to try not to waffle on about them again, but you can of course do items in the middle. They don't have to go all the way off, so really good cardstock to be working with those dies if you do end up with them ones. Ribbon wise this week we're going to give you 1/2 metre of a wide brown gingham, 1/2 metre of a slightly thinner brown gingham. Then you're going to get 1 metre of our mint sheer ribbon, 1 metre of our really lovely cream ribbon. Now I don't know how well you're going to get to see this, but there's a really nice stitch element that goes down the side here. Now there's quite a few techniques with the stitch element you can do. You can even pull on the stitches and actually tease them out with a pokey tool or some tweezers and pull it back and it will ruffle up your ribbon. Or you can even just pull on one string and it will create like a doily effect or like a little flower. So you can play about with that. You don't have to use it like that. You can use it just as an ordinary ribbon, but it's nice to know you've got other details that you can do with it too. You're also going to get 1 metre of our lilac ribbon as well. And then the next one, this is a bit shiny and a bit sparkly. You're going to get 1 metre of these. Now these are brand new in. They're basically like a multifaceted gem style heart that are all joined together, so really good if you want to make them into borders or do things in home decor with them and bits like that. Or of course for our cards we can just snip the strings and use them as individual hearts. I'm going to show you that on one of my cards later, but they really are very special. And 1 metre is going to give you, if I remember rightly, we counted these up earlier, you're going to get over 40 of these. So value for money wise, especially sort of when you compare them to gems in packs that you might be able to purchase, you're going to get a lot more on that for your money than you would in a packet. So again, really good value for money and more options. So win-win situation, hey? We're also going to give you a pot of ultra fine iridescent glitter. I know it's Christmas season and you may be hiding from it, like I said earlier, but even if you are, iridescent glitter is great all year round, but it is especially good when we get to Christmas. So this is our really ultra fine one and you're getting quite a big jar of that. That's the one we use in our lessons, so it's a really good quality glitter. We're also going to give you a packet of pearls. Now these are pearls that are in lines, so they do come off all in one line. You can cut them up to use them as individuals if you want to, but they make creating borders and frames really easy. And you can even use them round ovals and hearts and bits like that. They have a bit of give in them, so you don't have to use them in a perfectly straight line. We're also going to give you these. These are brand new packet of flowers. Now they're sort of made out of like a parchment style material. They're really lovely coloured. You could glitter them as well if you wanted to, dress them up a bit more. You can tease them up a bit and give them a bit more shape if you wish to, but they really are lovely flowers. I love the blue ones for Christmas because they look a bit like a frosty poinsettia, but it's actually the lilac-y purple ones you're going to get to see on one of my cards in a little while, but they're just lovely. So much we could do with them too. Then on to card. We wanted to give you quite a lot of card this week because obviously using your stamps and your dies, that's the one thing you're really going to need. So we're going to give you 10 sheets of our pearl white card. Now this is a really nice white card. It's got a bit of a hint of silver in it. Not so much that you're going to necessarily pick up on it straight away, but it's in there, and when you colour it and work with it, you're really going to get to see that extra sheen come through. We're also going to give you an A4 sheet of gold linen metallic card. Again, this is really good to work with your 3D emboss folders, your die cuts, really lovely. You're also going to get a sheet of Centura Pearl blue cardstock. We're also going to give you a sheet of navy cardstock. This is just a flat navy. We're also going to give you 2 sheets of A4 cream linen card. Now I've been working with this today and inking it, and you really get to see the texture come out when we ink it. So you might not see this so much on film, but when we actually show you some of the samples, you'll really like this. We're also going to give you one of the white ones of that too. So if you don't want to work on cream, you've got some white to hand as well. And you're also going to get 5 sheets of our gold, brushed gold, we call this one, our brushed gold pearl card, which again has got a really nice sheen to it. Perfect for stamping on. You can colour it, paint it, die cut it, but it's also strong enough if you want to make boxes and card blanks out of it. So that's your essentials pack this week. As I said, it is worth £21.19p, but yours for just £14. Now these are a couple of things that I wanted to show you that we've actually managed to get back in stock. We had really high demand for these when we had them on an essentials pack a couple of weeks ago. I could tell you some quite funny stories about the lengths people went to get these. But what we've brought back for you, as you can see, we've got a little bit of a tower going on here. We have a few of these in stock, but don't rest on your laurels. Get them while we've got them. High demand for these. They're £2.99, and in here you get loads and loads of little boxes full of goodies. So this is the one I used on the week when we actually had them on for our essentials pack. So a few bits have gone missing out of here. So a few of these pots will be a bit more filled when you receive it. So don't think that they've shortchanged you. It's just that I've been robbing mine a little. So in here, in our first window, we have loads of iridescent sequins. In our next one, we have a whole little box full of daisy gems. In our next one, we have little daisy sequins. Loads of these, so many of these in fact. And they're perfect. They look really good in Christmas cards as well. Then next we have some fabric flower heads. Then after that we've got some square iridescent sequins. And then lastly in this one we have these little yellow flower heads as well. Let's see if we can get one of them out for you. And of course on top of that you also have the storage tub, which can be used time and time again. Now these are only £2.99, but when they're gone, they're gone. So please don't hesitate. If you want to get hold of one of them, get them while we've got them. As I say, there was quite a war over these when we had them in our essentials pack. On the same week, I believe, we also had our rub-ons, and these again really sparked off a lot of people who had never used rub-ons before. These are our Christmas rub-ons, and we've managed to get these for you as an individual item. So if you do wish to buy these, they're £1.99 a packet. We have your bauble rub-ons, which gives you all of those, and then on the back we've got Santa and a Rudolph and a bell and a couple of little details as well. So that's £1.99 for that one. And then over on this one, we've got your reindeer set of rub-ons, which have of course got these really lovely bauble bits across the top. And then on the back of this one, let's flip this one over, we've got some snowflakes, a candle and a bit of holly going on. So again, a really lovely set. Now they are £1.99 each if you would like either of those. Again, they're available on the website, or you can order them in all of the different social media platforms if you wish to. So then, we better have a little look at the samples I've been making this week, haven't we? And hopefully set your mind at rest over which items you would like to get, because we know these are going to go quick and we really don't want you to miss out. So we need you to make your mind up quite sharpish so you don't miss out. So let's have a look at this one to begin with. This one's a really simple one. I haven't actually used the stamps for this one. This is just playing around with the dies. So like I showed you earlier when we had a little look at the border dies, this is using the same die as we did on that one there, which is actually border die set 15. And I've just done it 4 times to create my frame, like I explained to you that we could do. Now, of course, don't forget you could do that with any of the border dies. It doesn't have to be this one. But I did think the points to it matched in really well with the die. Now, the die in the middle here is die number 12. Now, what I've done on this one is I've used the outside edge. I've then used the really fancy element to cut out all of this part. I've then used the stitch circle in the middle, and then in the very centre I've used the lattice circle with the outside ring to go around that one. I've also cut one of the solid parts out in black to go underneath it, and then padded and stuck on it flat some of my elements. As you can see, you're going to be getting the pinstripe black paper from your essentials pack in this one, and these are your really little cool hearts. Now remember those hearts on a string that I said we could cut up? These are those cut into pieces, so you can use them just as decorations or borders if you wish to. So that is our first one. Now this butterfly on here, I'm going to get to show you that shortly. So if you haven't seen our butterfly before, it will come up shortly just down the row a little. Earlier as well, before we move on too far, we spoke about using your stamps to decorate envelopes with. So this is one of the designs that's in this set. So don't forget, we're looking now at bundle D. So this has got your really lovely sunflower set of stamps in. So that's just an envelope I've just stamped this on, which I think would be perfect to write to your relative or your mum and dad or whoever you're going to write to. Just pop your little name in there. Of course, I've left these plain, but there's no reason you couldn't paint these in to give a bit more detail. I've got a few others we're just going to run through quickly, just so you can see how these would all work on envelopes if you wanted them to. And we'll discuss the sets as we come to them, so bear with me on that one. But it just shows you how you could really decorate up an envelope. Sometimes I feel we put so much effort into creating a card, and then we just pop our wonderful work in a very boring envelope and hand it over, and the packaging is so emotionless. It's nice if we can decorate that up a little bit too. We actually made that as one of our challenges on last week's homework. If you haven't seen our homework group before, we have a homework group on Facebook, and every Friday we set you a new challenge. This week's is virtually impossible, and I do apologise. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for a lot of people to take part in, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what you create. It's got to be a bit of a challenge to keep you all interested. So if you haven't come across our homework group, check out what everyone's been up to. Have a look back to last week when you can see how they decorated their envelopes, to give you a few ideas as well. I will put the link to our homework group in the description for this video, so if you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, there will be a link that you can click that will take you to our homework group. As always, you don't have to be a Facebook member to view any of our groups on Facebook or our main store page. You can pop on and have a look without having to belong to Facebook. It just means you can't write to us or like or comment on any of our pieces. You do have to then become a Facebook member, but it is completely free. But I know a lot of people are a bit wary of Facebook and things like that, so you don't have to be if you don't want to. But do go look at the homework page, because there's some fantastic ideas on there. We really have some incredibly talented people taking part. So that was your envelopes. Anyway, let's have a little look at the next card you could make from this collection. So this one is using stamp number 8. Now, I've done this in our lovely sapphire navy embossing powder. Now, if you watched last week's video, you'll know that we bought you 15 new shades of embossing powder. This is one of those. This is the navy. I told you on last week's video, I don't know how I've been living without navy embossing powder, and it's certainly come back to me in play this week quite a bit, and this is one of the ones I've done with it. So this time I've just used my outside die, I've stamped my element on it, I've then heat embossed it in the navy, and then I've painted it in with distress inks to get a bit more of an aged look on my flowers. Of course, this is one of those dies and stamp sets. If you wanted to, you could cut out lots of flowers and layer them and really go to town on them. I think they look really lovely glittered as well, possibly. Especially if you use your iridescent glitter from in your essentials pack, you could really make those pop a bit more. I've cut the middle out using a knife, just going around the edges of my flowers. You certainly don't have to if you don't want to, but it gave me somewhere to tuck my little banner into. Again, you may recognise the happy birthday font on this one. This is one of the stamps that was on last week's showcase. In the background, this is actually an embossing folder. It's not one we have on offer this week, but it is a really good value one. It's quite a large embossing folder. Now, I know you can hardly see this when we look at the plastic, but it's going to do all this really lovely embossed work down here and up the top here for you as well. I've just gone over mine with some inks. This embossing folder is only $4.99, so it's not too expensive if you do want one of those. Code for this one is C57F. So if you do wish to order that one, just let us know that code. So that's C57F, and we can have that one held for you as well. And of course, it's on the website if you do wish to click and collect or order online. Now, the last sample for this set that we're looking at, which of course is Bundle D, this is using a sunflower stamp. Now, this time I've done it on the die cut again. I've heat embossed it in gold. I've then painted it in with distress inks, and then I've done another one to layer a couple of my elements. Like I was saying with the last flower stamp, there's nothing stopping you really layering these up and going to town with them if you want to. I've cut the gap out with a knife, and then I've just stamped on some card underneath with a script stamp. Around my box you can see some of the ribbons, so you've got the thin ribbon and the wider ribbon that you're going to get in your essentials pack. You can also see a few bits of the gold card that again are going to be in your essentials pack, so you can really play about with them to create little trinkets like this if you wanted to. With this one, I just wanted to show you that you don't always have to use these elements for cards. They'd make great frames for scrapbooking. You can use them to decorate boxes. You could even, some of them, you could even stamp them back to back on the same element and actually make like hanging decorations, especially when we get to the Christmas ones. The baubles stamped back to back might make a really nice element to hang in the middle of a card, or actually turn into an ornament perhaps. So that was your Bundle D. As I say, if you do wish to buy it as a complete set, it's only $16.49, should be £20.97. If you do wish to buy them individually, it's die number 12, it should be $10.99, it's only $8.79, and then stamp 8, $4.99, only $3.99, and stamp 7, which should be $4.99, but it's only $3.99 once again. So lots of choices in that one. Moving on, we're going to look at bundle C, working backwards. So this one is bundle C, and on here we have got our lovely outside die cut out. We've then stamped it using stamp number 6. I've again heat embossed this one in the same sapphire navy embossing powder. And then, as I said to you earlier, because of these dies really do match up to your stamps, this is using the die that comes in with your number 11 die set. It just matches perfectly up to cut them really lovely windows out in the middle here. Now again, that's one of the ones that doesn't have a blade around the outside. It does have it separately if you do wish to cut the complete window out, but I actually really like that. I thought that looked like I'd put a lot of effort into this, when in honesty all I've done is stamped it and stuck that on top and sent it through my machine, and it gives you that effect like I've really done a lot. In the middle here, the little hello part is again one of the little dies. You don't have to worry about cutting those out. It is a die for you to cut that little panel out if you wish to pop one of those in the centre. And then around here, the top and the bottom part of this is obviously from our border die set. This is number 15, so that's the one that gives you 5 dies in it. So I've just used 2 parts of that and popped them on my card to cut them out. Now again, I know I get a bit excited about these, but because of their freestanding elements and you can put them wherever you wish to, this gap in the middle is down to you how big or small that is. So if you like the look of this, of course there's nothing stopping you doing them together and having a really nice delicate panel, or doing them top and bottom of a really big page depending on your machine. So again, lots of options with them, but I've just done them perfectly to fit my actual element in the middle here. Again, the butterfly, we are going to come to those in a moment. I'm going to show you that shortly. So if you are looking at him thinking he's rather lovely, don't panic, we will have a little look at that shortly. Sticking with bundle C, we're going to have a little look at this one. Now this time I've used the lilac embossing powder from last week's video. Don't forget, we've still got these in stock. If you would like them, our embossing powders are only $2.99 a jar. Again, they're available in store or online. Now I know the lilac one is a little bit harder for you to see on camera, but it's using stamp number 6. Again, I've used that element from the middle, but this time I've used the outside blade with it as well. I'm just going to pinch that so you can see it. That's your outside blade. So if you do wish to use that over the filigree bit, this is what you're going to end up with. And as I said to you earlier, with them little holes on the edges, they're perfect for threading through on some ribbons. So it looks like that's the bit that's holding it in place for you. The truth is, there's a few foam pads under there, but nobody needs to know that. We've then got some ribbons on the edges. Again, your ribbons are going to be in your essentials pack. You've then got the really lovely flowers. Again, they're going to be in your essentials pack too, along with the gingham card that you can see here as well. And then on the edge here, you can see that we've used border 15 again, but I've kept the 2 together, so it makes it a bit of a bigger border. I'm going to be naughty and show you the back. Now, if you were sending this card, you should cover this up, but I've just taped mine on. But it shows you how, if you want to use them both together, you can do, and it will make a much wider border if you wish to. You don't have to, of course, tape them to the back. Because of their edgeable dies, you can, of course, cut them into the back panel and have them actually fold out with it. But I didn't think of that until it was too late, so I've just done one and stuck it on. But, of course, if you were doing this, you could stick a piece of card over it to cover that up. There's no problem with fixing things like that. Okay, moving on to our next one. Talking about border dies, this one I think is going to make you fall in love with this one. This is border die 13. Now this time what I've done is I've actually taken one sheet of card, so this is all one piece of card to make my front panel. I've just scored it at 2 different intervals, which is 5 centimetres and 10 centimetres, and I've popped on my die going outwards with the outside edge or the top edge on it to cut off the side. I've then done it again on the next line down, which would be a 10 centimetre crease, and then folded that in half. Hopefully this is making sense. And then I've repeated it from the other end exactly the same. So hopefully you can see if I fold that in here, your piece of card started off at this end, which was an A4 length by 5.5 inches if you wish to do this. So A4 length, there's your first cut, there's your second, then continues down. You've then got your third cut and your fourth cut there. Now on the back of these, I've also used my edger die to cut across the card that I wanted to put on the back, or the paper I wanted to put on the back. The paper is once again the sheets that you're going to get in your essentials pack, which give you that really nice variegated colour tone. On the actual front of my card, I have used stamp number 5, and I've heat embossed it using gold embossing powder, and then I've painted it in with Distress inks once again. Now on the top here, above that part and popping out the top of the actual card, this is using the die. When the die cuts out, it's obviously a really lovely filigree style frame, but I just wanted the top elements. Now there's no reason why I've cut mine in half. I don't know. I might be able to get in here to show you. Oh, here you go. If we pull this bit up a bit, so I've just cut mine down literally sort of in half and attached half of it coming out the top of my card, or out of the top of my panel, and half coming out the bottom of it. I've then done the same again and attached these on the inside of my card. I've covered them up with cards so you can't see them, but it just gives you another edgeable effect, and it just marries it all together hopefully, and it just widens out your panel. So if you do look at your stamp and think, well, I'd really like to make more of a focal point of it, having the matching die with the same scalloped edges can really make you extend that panel to make it for larger cards if that's what you'd like to do. Again, we've just got a little butterfly in the middle here, just a general butterfly die that's available on the website if you'd like the look of that one. But it does make quite a small card, and it can all be folded down for if you wish to send it flat in an envelope. So if you like the look of them, again, you are going to need them border dies. Every week I have something I waffle on about a lot. This week it's definitely going to be them. I really do think they're lovely. Next up, sticking with our bundle C, again I've got lots to talk to you about border dies, I apologise. This time we have used one of the cards that you're going to get in your essentials pack, but I've cut into the bottom of it. So what I've done is I've created an easel effect card. Hopefully you can see that in here somewhere. So we've just got one card that's going to run all the way up here. I've cut the blades or the border die into the base here using the bottom blade going across the bottom and then leaving the top one off so it stays on my cardstock. At the tip of my easel, I've put some green cards, so I can't show you the back, but on the tip of the easel, I've done the same again to continue that look. And then at the very top of my card, this is a separate panel, I've then created just the top part of that die using the top blade going across it so that you can see how you can use it with the top blade or the bottom blade to give you two different effects. That one is border die 14, or die 14 I should say. So again, just showing you a different version of that. Going on to the middle panel, this time we have stamp number 5 again, this time on the mint cardstock, and I've heat embossed it using silver embossing powder. Same butterfly die that we're going to speak about in just a moment, and then same trick as we was just chatting about a moment ago on the last card, using the sides of our die cut to actually build out our panel. Now on the last one I showed you the thinner side, the top of it as such. This time I'm using the longer side, the actual side part here, to actually make that a bit wider and just fill out a bit more of our filigree and matches in nicely with our dies. Again, you've got your ribbon that's going to be in your essentials pack 2 for that one. Now your butterfly, I keep mentioning this, you're going to see it a few times throughout today. This is your butterfly die. So you're going to get your actual butterfly, and then you've got a separate body, which I quite like because it means we can build them up in different colours. This die is $8.99. Its code is JO3A. So if you do like the look of that one, again, it's available in store or online. But if you are ordering via social media or text or phone, JO3A is the code you need to tell us to get your hands on one of those. Now, that was bundle C, don't forget. So bundle C should be $24.68, only £19.49 if you do wish to have those 3 elements. If you do wish to buy them separately, die 11 is $14.70 reduced to $11.79, and then of course you've got stamp 6 and 5 individually reduced from $4.99 to $3.99. Now let's have a little look at bundle B. Now I must confess I am in a bit of a Christmas mood, so I do apologise, lots of Christmas bits to show you today, but I know lots of you are too. Bundle B, don't forget, should be $24.97, but if you do wish to buy it as it's a complete set, is only $19.49. So again, a really good buy to have. We're going to start off over here with this card. Now this is the first time I'm getting to show you your 3D embossing folders. So this time I've done it on the white cardstock, the white pearl cardstock I should say, that's going to be in your essentials pack. But I have gone over it with some distress inks, tea dye in particular, to just tone it down a little. And then I've painted over the top of it using distress inks, and then inked over the tops of that to give me some darker veins in my holly. Because it's such a deep embossing folder, hopefully you're seeing this. I know my painting sort of distracts the eye from the depth of it, but it does mean we can just rub inks over the top of it and paint them really easily. Because you've got such a ridge against it, painting them really isn't a challenge at all. Sometimes with embossing folders, because of the embossed part is so thin, it's so easy to slip off the element you're trying to paint or colour and end up covering bits you shouldn't. Well, with this you don't have to. It really is so easy to work with. You can also see the ribbon here that you're going to get in your essentials pack. We've then got a little sentiment over this side that's from last week's stamp sets, but again they're still available online. If you haven't seen them yet, you can still get your hands on those ones. And then of course here we've got the background die used from our lovely set, die set number 10, and then I've cut another one out and I've popped on stamp number 4 and heat embossed that in gold, which is of course our beautiful Robin. I've just painted him in again with distress inks, and then I've taken a knife and cut out all these details. You really don't have to cut them out if you don't want to, but I do quite like it as a bit of a window, so if you wish to, you can. Depends on how much faffing you wish to do. On to our next one, and this is showing you the same stamp again. So still working with stamp number 4. Same idea again, but this time I haven't heat embossed him. I've just stamped him in black and painted him in. So if you don't like heat embossing, you don't have to do that with these stamps. You really don't. There's so many ways you can use them. It really is open to your interpretation. In the background, you're seeing the other 3D embossing folder. Now this one's actually a poinsettia embossing folder, but I think there's so many ways we can colour this and dress it up, that although these really do look like poinsettias in red and on a Christmas card, we could certainly make them look more like a daisy and other flowers using different colours. So a really good embossing folder to have. Now the best bit about this one is they've actually designed this to coordinate perfectly with these stamps and embossing folders. Sorry, stamps and dies. The embossing folder itself has this frame in the middle of it, which is actually exactly the same as the die cut you're going to be receiving in die set number 10. Now, in die set number 10, you get 3 of the elements to go in the middle. The stamp fits perfectly on the largest, but I wanted to show you how we could layer them elements to make more of a focal point in the middle of our folder. So I've stamped it on the smaller one in the centre. Not the very small, there are 2 smaller than that, but the smallest one, or the middle one maybe we should say, the 3rd size down from the biggest. It takes off a bit of the edging, so you do get a smaller image, but I think it's worth it. I think it's nice to see the different layers underneath it. Over here we've used a fern die and some poinsettia dies to just make up a little scene. The fern die is one of my favourites. This is your fern die. It's $13.49. It's available separately. Again, if you'd like to order this one, it's code B31F if you wish to order that one separately. Again, it's available in store or online, but it's just so lovely to work with, especially on this folder, on your embossing folder, because it's nice to just build up a poinsettia corner and match in with your swirls and your poinsettias. And I've just trimmed it to different lengths to make up that really big focal part of my card. Down on the base here, we of course have another one of our border dies. Now this is border die 15. Again, I've cut it out of the white cardstock from your Essentials pack, and I've just inked over that using a fern green ink pad to just tone it down and match it more in with my card. You've also got your ribbon here again. That's that really lovely cream one that again is going to be in your Essentials pack. So another thing I wanted to chat to you about with that embossing folder. Now obviously on here I've shown you how you can use the dies to build up on top of it. But what it also means is you could use the dies to cut out a window in your embossing folder. So this one I've embossed using the gold cardstock from your Essentials pack, but the window is cut obviously using the largest one of those dies. But because you've got 6 different sizes that all match the same outside frame, there's nothing stopping you from cutting a smaller window or keeping with a big window and then layering them other panels on the inside of it. I also thought this would make a really good box top, so if you wanted to just give a little hint to the card beneath it, really nice window on the top of a box, or of course, what a perfect shaker card. You've got perfect edge round here to add some foam tape. Obviously pop some acetate in first, if not a shaker card may take out somebody's eye if it hasn't got anything protecting what's in it. But pop on your acetate, a bit of foam tape around the edges, and then you've got the perfect shaker card window. Again, possibly use some of them seam stamps and bits to build up on the inside, because that would work too. So you could have your stamps that work with it in the centre to look at through your window. So many options with that folder. Again, I think a really lovely one for you to have, especially if you are going to go for bundle B. I really would urge you to get the same embossing folder. On to your next card. Now this time we have gone for a stepper card. On the top here, I wanted to show you how well your actual die cuts, this is die number 10 still, works really well with your stamps. Now of course this could be the Robin stamp or it can be this one. This one is stamp number 3, and as I said to you at the very beginning, I love how it's got this little scroll bit in the middle for you to add in sentiments or names, or of course you could even possibly put a very small verse on it on the inside of your card if you wish to have a matching insert. There's nothing stopping you having this panel on the insert and the same panel on the outside, but maybe with a Robin on, and using the whole set together to coordinate really well. But I really love the way that with this die set, the actual largest die isn't just the same as the edge as the stamp. You've got all this really lovely filigree holly bit going out around the edge, which, don't forget, if you colour it, is really beautiful. Now I know I've left mine quite plain and white on this one, but really I possibly should have coloured it because of the green is really lovely and tones in so well with the poinsettias. But it's a really good way to match up and use those stamps and dies together. Now across the bottom of my card, I was just playing about with this one to be honest, but I often find with stepper cards, I don't really know what to do with that bar at the bottom. And I always end up just putting a piece of ribbon across it, just to fill in that void, because of all of your work should really be on these panels. Well, today I wanted to try something different, so I used one of my border dies. Now this is border die 14. I've cut it all out as an actual window. Obviously not using the top or the bottom blade because I wanted it to stay in my cardstock. I also thought I'd be a bit fancy and do the same on the inside, so it matches up perfectly. So if you did want to do this on a smaller card, maybe one that's going to sit together a little closer, you can do, and then you'd see through it if you wish to. But this time I thought I'd put some green card on the back of it, just so you match in the colour schemes with the rest of what's going on here. On the sides I've added some poinsettias and that really lovely fern die again, and then on the top I've used another one of those border dies. This time I've cut it out completely and I've just added it to the back of the cards. That's border die 14 and it's just stuck on the top here as a little embellishment instead, but it matches in perfectly with the cuts on the inside and the outside of the card. So just a different way to use them on a stepper card. So that is Bundle B. So don't forget, Bundle B is a recommended retail price of $24.97. It's yours for just $19.49, or you can buy them individually. So die 10 should be $14.99, reduced to $11.99. And then both of your stamps, stamp 4 and stamp 3, should be $4.99 each, but it's only $3.99 on their own this week. And then on to your last bundle. So this is Bundle A. Now, before we look at too much of what we've done this time of Bundle A, I wanted to jog your memory for if you may already have this die at home. The last thing we want is you doubling up. So this is what we actually show you with this die set when we launched it a couple of months ago. So this is using the dies and layering them. So of course we've got that smaller bauble and I've cut that out with the delicate bit, and then I've used a solid green card underneath it just to marry it up. So that's how they can look if you wish to do that instead. And then on this card we have the large and the small bauble used with the filigree parts on top, and then gold Miru card underneath it. I've then got the little toppers on the tops of those as well. And in the middle you're getting to see one of those words. Now I said earlier how I love these. They actually engrave into your cardstock. So this is the joy word, but there's also a peace word as well. And that was just a simple little card that we did on a showcase a little while back. But it does show you a different use for the baubles to what I'm going to show you today. Because obviously today I want to really show you these stamps, because the stamps are just to die for. Now this is your first card we're going to have a little look at. So this has got both of your bauble stamps on it. So you've got the one with the sleigh and reindeer is stamp number 1. And then we have this one with just the little house and the little moon in the sky. This one is stamp number 2. I don't know how you'd pick between them. I think they work really well together, so I think you may need both. This is showing you them coloured in, so I've actually stamped them onto white card. I've heat embossed them in black embossing powder, and then I've painted them in with distress inks. You will notice on a lot of my videos I paint a lot of stuff with distress inks. I find that a really easy medium to work with, but that doesn't mean you can't use pencils and pens and different other things like that. You could work with so many different colouring mediums to make these baubles look really, really lovely. You don't have to paint them in if you don't want to. I actually often feel I paint a bit like a 2-year-old. So although it's not great, I think my painting's slightly better than my colouring, to be honest with you. But you could use these with anything, or you could leave them plain, to be honest. As you can see on the packets themselves, even just in black and white, they are such a striking image. If you like doing monochrome Christmas cards or a bit more of a modern feel into your Christmas cards, leave them black and white or just emboss them in a simple colour. They might look really nice stamped on acetates and parchments, bits like that as well. On this one again, I've just added in a few dies around the edges. I love these foliage ones. You will have possibly seen them on a showcase not that long ago as well. I've used a script stamp in the background here, which again is available on the website. And then down the bottom here, we've got our Merry Christmas and Happy New Year sentiment, which again is one of the stamps that we had a little look at last week. If you didn't get to see last week's video, it is still online, so you can always pop back and have a little look at that if you haven't seen it already. We had some really beautiful stamps that we launched, which reminds me we must talk about our lovely snowman stamp shortly and tell you what name we chose for him. So this one is using your baubles again. Now this one, a little sneaky update for you. This card will actually be one of our upcoming lessons. I can't tell you dates on this one yet because we haven't decided, but it will feature in one of the upcoming lessons at our Lowestoft and Great Yarmouth store. So if you're looking at these products and thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, firstly, yes, you can. They're really, really, really easy to work with. But secondly, if you're not sure, pop along to one of the lessons. We'll have a little play with them and you'll really fall in love because they're so simple to work with. So for this one, what I've done is I've used my Holly 3D embossing folder. I've done that on some white card and then I've gone over the top with just some chipped sapphire ink to just tone it down. I've not been particularly neat in what I've been doing there. I wanted a more vintagey, distressed look, but of course with this folder, if you wanted to be more precise, because it's so in depth and so precise and built out, you could ink it in a different way to get a more elegant effect if you don't like distressed and vintage looks. For the baubles, I've stamped them just using black Memento ink. Again, you don't have to heat emboss them if you don't want to. I've done that on white cardstock, and then using all different shades of blue ink, I've actually painted these in to just go in for that sort of frozen effect. I've then used the iridescent glitter that is in your essentials pack to just give them a bit of a frosty sparkle. Really, really easy to do, to be honest, but quite a fun card to play about with. And if you're not used to doing those, it might be a good one for you to play with. Now, obviously, when I did this folder, I really liked how the inking worked. And I wanted to show you that with your other folder that you have on offer this week, your poinsettia folder, you could do the same. Now, as I said earlier, although it's, as we call it, a poinsettia folder, nothing wrong with you inking it in a different colour and using it as a more everyday folder. So I didn't get a chance to complete this as a card, but of course, don't forget your die does match up in the middle there to cut out your windows if you want to. Or you could use something like this, which is one of your other stamp sets, and actually pop that in the centre. It doesn't have to be the same shape or size. You could really play about and use bits like that, and it could really give you some different effects. So that's just showing you a different colourway on the same folder, or same colour on a different folder, I should say, sorry, to show you how you could create a different idea. So that completes all of my cards for today. I hope you have enjoyed seeing these, and I've had a few ideas come to you from these. This set, of course, what you're looking at is bundle A. Should be $28.97, but is only $22.99. For that money, you are going to get your 2 stamps and your die set. If you wish to buy them individually, you can do. The die set should be $18.99, but is only £15.19. And stamp 2 and stamp 1 should be $4.99 each, but is only $3.99 if you wish to buy them on your offers. Now, as always, our offers only last a week. So this offer, all of these offers we've spoke about today, will end at 5 p.m. on Saturday the 28th of July 2018. So if you do want these offers, get them while we've got them. The items may well still be in stock after that date and may still be on our website or in store at a later date. So don't feel you've completely missed out, but your offers have gone. Every Sunday we release a new video, and every week we have an offer just for that week and that week only. So with that in mind, let's chat a little bit about how you can get hold of these items. As I said to you earlier, you can order them on our website. We actually ship worldwide. The majority of our orders do go abroad, so you're certainly not alone if that's something you would like us to do. Don't worry. Just check out our frequently asked questions page on our website and it will tell you how it all works. But it's ever so simple, and we try and keep it as cheap as possible so that you get more goodies for your money and hopefully get you nice and quickly too. If you do wish to shop with us in the UK and have them sent to you, then that's really easy. If you spend over £35, P&P is completely free. If you spend under £35, our P&P is just a flat rate of £2.75. So hopefully not too complicated, and again, hopefully doesn't cost you too much money. You can, of course, also request to have any of the items I've shown to you today held in one of our stores. Now, you can collect them from the Great Yarmouth store or the Lowestoft store. Just pop in the comments, either on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, or you can text us your order, or you can also call us at one of our stores and we can hold any of the items for you for up to 7 days. Any of the offer prices, though, don't forget, end at 5 p.m. on the Saturday coming, which for this one will be the 28th of July. So do get them while they're on offer. Before I let you go, I also want to talk to you about last week. Now, last week we run a competition, or a bit of a challenge, if you like, more than a competition, to name our snowman. Now, I mentioned earlier some of the stamps that we were looking at. This is our snowman stamp from last week. And our best suggestion, or our favourite suggestion, we had so many good ones, but it was Jasper. And it's called Jasper for his carrot, so Jasper Carrot. We thought that was quite funny. It might just be us having a moment, but he is now going to be branded as Jasper. And Jasper is another one of the cards that are coming up in lessons. We have the dates already. It's coming up in August in our Lowestoft store and will be repeated roughly 6 weeks later in our Great Yarmouth store. So if you would like to come along and have a play with Jasper, then you can do. Check out the event section on our Facebook page to tell you more about our lessons. Now, talking about our social media, I also want to say a massive thank you to you for you helping us reach our 1,000 landmark on YouTube. As I said to you at the beginning of today's video, it really does mean the world to us that you've helped us get there. So if you haven't as yet subscribed to us on YouTube, please do pop on there and hit subscribe. If you've enjoyed today's video, then you can also give us a thumbs up on many platforms, including YouTube. And if you don't mind, we'd also love it if you was to share our video. If you can share them, it means more people will watch them. The more people that watch them, the more offers and products we can bring to you. So we all benefit the more that view us. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you all next week on our next showcase. Bye for now.